Sounds
And
good. Sounds good.
there we are. Okay, you are listening to a rousing, action-packed edition of Fucking Around with Porn Stars. I'm, of course, Jiggy Jag. I also have the amazing and talented Giovanni Valentino with you, and we welcome you to our next edition of Fucking Around with Porn Stars, where legends come to unload everything. And
Yes.
today, we're diving into the real life of one of the most awarded, most watched, and most fascinating stars the adult world has ever known. He is not just a performer. He's a BMX champion. He's a musician. He's a survivor. He's a stunt level adrenaline junkie, and the man who has seen the top of the mountain and the darkest valleys along the way. His brand new autobiography, Unloaded, pulls the curtain all the way back from childhood bullying, rock and roll dreams, motorcycle crashes, dancing scares, and becoming a major face in Porn Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and horny degenerates alike, we welcome to you the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tommy Gunn with us. Tommy, how are you, sir?
Wow, I'm wonderful. Thanks. I don't know what to do with that introduction. My goodness, I feel like I should
Hey, you're a major deal, and after
run out there
reading
and
through
get in
this
a political
book,
office or something.
Well, I don't know. There's another porn star we both know who ran for office.
Yeah,
It didn't
right.
really work out well.
That didn't get kind of.
We
Yeah,
won't get
right,
into
right.
that here.
Or maybe
But
something different.
we have got a great guest with us today, and he joins us live. And of course, if you want to join us each and every day, we are at JiggyJaguar.com. We are also available on BitChute, Rumble, Clout Hub, all the various places. So Tommy, I want to start off with becoming Tommy Gunn.
Yes.
You talk about being
Yeah.
bullied for being quote unquote different growing up. How did those scars push you toward the reinvention later in your life, my friend?
Oh, well, I mean, I lived in Maple Shade, New Jersey. Just to give you a little backstory, Maple Shade, New Jersey was a very blue collar town there. And I came from a diverse background. My mother was half Chinese, and my father was basically 100% Italian. So, what that turned out for me was I was Chi-Italian. I was basically a small little kid that Chinese and Italian, Chi-Italian. So when I was, I would get chased home from school all the way up to my porch, and I'd run and shut the door and look out the window and flip the guys off. And they would say all the names from Chink to Mutt to all those other things. So that was kind of scarring and hurtful and those types of things. And then it didn't stop there. It kind of went into middle school and then high school. But it just made me, it just made me want to work harder and try to be more successful at anything I did, and try to just break that. I guess, if you will, I don't want to say victim, but that type of mentality where, here I was, if you will, being young and being picked on. I wanted to grow up and be a big, strong man and work out and do bodybuilding and do all those things. I guess metaphorically, I got the sand kicked in my face. So, I didn't want to go off to be a police officer or anything like that, but I just wanted to, anything with an authority figure. I didn't want to do that, but I just wanted to, I guess, stick up for myself and carve a different path for myself. One that was more of a, I guess, I don't know, stern and, more capable of protecting himself and looking after himself. I didn't go into martial arts or any of those things, but
Right.
In hindsight, I wish I'd have done that just because. But that's a good thing to learn. It's a good discipline. Anyway, hopefully that answered some of your questions.
Yes, we have got the incredible Tommy Gunn with us today. And after reading through this book,
Yep.
Unloaded, sir, you have had a life where you are busier than a fruit merchant. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
The Kawasaki certified mechanic part, that it was hard. I think for me, as somebody who admires, the work from the adult side, you sort of, I think even those of us that are in the business, I think you touched on some stuff, and what was interesting was, like, even within it, when we meet other folks from the industry, you tend to forget right?
Sure.
We all do that. We're this other human beings part. There's so many multifaceted aspects to each of us as human beings on this planet. There's people that forget that I went to Texas A&M or that I actually have a degree, and there's people that forget because they see us as porn, and then they don't think about all the
Sure.
little ingredients that sort of went into the gumbo that made us who we are today. So I got to tell you,
Absolutely.
I'm when I saw the comics, I don't know why my brain exploded. I was like, I didn't even know that. So I'm sorry, Jig. I didn't mean to like
No,
pop
no,
in
no,
there.
no. You're good. You're good.
I think it's been great that that you took a lot of this. You talked about this, and that is it's challenging, and there's tribulations there for a child growing up in that sort of environment where you're having to
Sure.
sort of eke out, right? A better way of being able to define who you are so they don't define you. What would you
Yeah.
say then, kind of moving forward, what aspects of that, that concept, that challenge that you overcame, how have you applied that throughout, like some of these pivotal moments in your life? Like, you had that, so you obviously have learned how to conquer and overcome, but where would you say, what points in your life would you say,
Sure.
hey, I've used that over and over again, knowing to rise above? Or are there any other critical moments, throughout all that kind of came to light that you use that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's definitely some other darker moments in my life that I had to, I guess, navigate, and one of them was I guess my discovery, if you will, of drugs. I smoked a little weed as a young guy in my teens, just here and there, and then next thing you know, I was doing it in my 20s, and then I got into, I guess, a relationship. My mother had passed away, which was tremendously. I don't know if you're aware of the way and the capacity, but she took her life, and I had to discover her. Basically, I discovered her. She had hung herself in the basement, which is just very, as one could imagine, such a shock in itself. And still to this day, I can close my eyes and see that image, which is very haunting. But that then right there, I said, well, this is a big obstacle. How do you get past it? You pull your belt strap a little tighter, and you roll your sleeves up, and you say, okay, I got to get past this, and just put one foot in front of the other, and get up in the morning and breathe in and out, and just keep moving forward. Unfortunately, for me, later in my life, I met a girl shortly after that. I guess the universe was kind enough to distract me from some of my heartache by introducing to me the love of my life. And I met her, and we hit it off, and we became husband and wife, basically, for lack of better words. And then I had an injury, and then I also experienced her down the road about 4 years later, leaving and divorcing me. So I kind of went on a bit of a self-destructive path, trying every drug pretty much that they have available, with the exception of sticking a needle in my arm. But and then even then I thought, these are demons. These are a bully in a different capacity that I had to overcome and try to apply that strength and that get up and go, and don't you fall down you fall down 6 times, you get up 7. So basically that's a particular part in time of a number of times where I had to use that type of strength and power, if you will, self control and power to get beyond that. So
We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live. Tommy Gunn is with us. He has a brand new book out, Tommy Gunn Unloaded, and good Lord, you have done some amazing things. This book, I have to hear this story about you literally sewed your hand to your waist to save your finger after a
yeah,
motorcycle crash. What did this moment,
that's
first of
correct.
all, teach you about resilience?
Yeah.
And also, what the hell made you think, hey, I'm just going to sew that? I'm just going to do this.
Well, It wasn't myself, actually. I
Oh,
was fully responsible for my motorcycle accident. There's no one
okay.
else. It's entirely my fault. So I was a young guy, who was indestructible. That's typically what happens when you're younger, and invincible and those things. So once I discovered I wasn't, there I was, pretty much crashed up like Mad Max, if you will, on the side of the road. I
Right.
then, to make the story quick, I got driven to the hospital, and then I got taken care of. My left hand had basically been somewhat mangled from the accident,
Oh,
from contacting the street with no gloves, if you will. And then, in order to save my finger, the doctor realized that I was a musician at the time, and in order to save my pinky finger, he needed to graft some skin off of my waist onto my finger in order to keep it,
oh,
because the skin had been
yeah,
ground off. Yeah,
right.
and the bone was sticking out. It was really terrible. So
Yeah.
what he decided to do is, in effort to save the finger, I had an abrasion on the left side of my waistline, if you can imagine. So he took that opportunity to make an incision, fold some skin back, take the pinky finger, basically lay it under the skin, sew them two together so that the blood vessels would connect. And
Right.
then he would sew
Wow.
my index finger and my thumb finger. He would take a pinch of skin similar to where the index finger was basically laying on my stomach there, and the thumb, he would take a stitch and run it through the fingernail, through the skin, back through, and make it. It's just kind of a friendly reminder that, like,
Yeah.
hey, you can't move your hand, you're stuck there. So 2 weeks later, after the blood vessels connected and whatnot, he could then separate me, and then I would have this lump of what looked like a half of a hot dog, pretty much sewn to my finger. And through time, it would be defined. It would be, I guess, through some other operations, they would kind of make it look a little better like a finger, but it still kind of has that strange look to it. Anyway, that's how he saved my finger from being amputated, because the doctor at the time, the hand surgeon, said if you were any older, I would just cut it off. But because you're a musician, we're going to try and save it. So I have a tremendous admiration and appreciation to Dr. Gaddy for saving my finger there back in my 20s, when I was 20.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That is
Wow.
amazing.
That
So that's why
is
my
that,
finger was sewn to my waist. Yeah.
Tommy's
that is
brand new book, Tommy Gunn Unloaded, is available on Amazon or where you find most uh, major books. He is a legend, and I am honored, and just me and Giovanni were blown away by the fact that we were able to interview you on this
yes,
show
absolutely.
today. Gio,
Oh,
go ahead, jump
wow.
in there, baby. I know you got some questions.
That's
Well, I
wonderful.
actually, yeah, I did. I remember there's a part in the book where you talked about, and I'm jumping into the part of probably one of my favorite HBO shows. I mean, there's been a lot of them. Succession is
Mhm.
one recently, but clicking back to the one that really made me realize that HBO could be a powerhouse in terms of just actually really great scripted material was Entourage. And I don't know why.
Yes.
I guess I'd seen it at the time, and I remember that you were in it. And then I read in the book. I was like, "Holy shit, that's right!" Because it's just been so long in my mind. Or as I like to say, I've eaten and drank since then, so sometimes I forget. Um, but
Exactly.
onto that note, what was that? You talked about in the book without giving, but I want to ask, what was that like? I mean, I know you were talking about, you kind of like walk us through that feeling of, because that is a wonderful jump, right? You're going from, our
Yeah,
sector,
yeah.
which is adult, into main. Tell us a little bit more about, dive into the personal emotions and what was kind of going through your head. And I really wanted to tap into that part.
Sure, sure. Well, again, I'll try to condense it. When I wanted to get into the adult industry, my original plan, I wanted to be an actor, just in general. I just wanted to be an actor, and obviously, mainstream was in my sights. But when I got the opportunity to get into the adult industry, I thought, well, it's kind of a small Hollywood. It's definitely got acting and scripts and wardrobe and sets, and it's legit acting. Back in the day, of course, when we did more of the bigger features, but And I thought, well, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can get into business as an adult actor, make such a big name for myself, hopefully, that the mainstream world would know who I was and say, okay, we know who you are. Come be in our project. Well, it basically worked. When I got the call or the information about Entourage seeking a male porn star, I did some homework. I talked to a producer in the adult world, and he said, yeah, there's a big call. They're looking for a male porn star. Here's the number. Call them up and see what you can find out. So I called up and I said, hello, my name is Tommy Gunn. I am a veteran in the business. I've been 10, 12 years in the business. I was told about this role that you're trying to cast. Give me the details. They said, okay, well, we're looking for male porn stars of all ages, brand new to, veterans that have been in for a fair amount of time. I said, okay, I'd like to come down and do the audition. They said, great. Here's the information. Here's the address. Come at this time. We'll email you the sides. You can rehearse, and then when we get down here, we'll fire up the camera and shoot a little audition. So I went down, and there was some other male porn star guys in the waiting room, if you will, to go in and audition. So I sat down. They called my name. I went inside. I did the little bit. It wasn't a huge thing. The basis of the scene, if you can remember, was
I remember
Sasha Grey. Yeah, Sasha Grey in the movie played herself, and Vince, the lead of the show, had a romantic involvement with her. But tragically, she wanted to get back into business, and he was against it. So the way they structured the scene, the meeting where I would be, or the person they were casting to play in this role, was she was going to make a comeback, do a 10-guy gangbang. Vince wasn't happy about it. And the other Vince, the character that I was being cast for, his name was Vince. I guess that was just designed to make it more interesting. Like, oh, his name is Vince too? How ironic, right? So on her, I guess this comeback moment, they were shooting the box cover for the big gangbang. So there I was with 9 other guys, shirtless in jeans, basically doing that thing. So anyway, when I did the audition, they said, "Great, we love what you did. We'll email you and let you know what happens." I said, "Fair enough." I pretty much just left and went on about my business. I didn't think anything of it because I try not to get excited about certain things because of the obvious. If for some reason it doesn't happen, you're not entirely upset. Yeah. So I went on about my business. So the following day, I went to another set in the adult world, and another producer said, "Hey, man, have you heard? HBO is looking for a Tommy Gunn type male porn star to play a role in this episode." And I go, "That's funny. I was just there, and nobody said anything about, oh, you're him, you're Tommy Gunn." So a day went by. I got an email that says, "Okay, we're looking at you, highly considering you for this role." I said, "Okay, great." Again, I went about my business. Another day or two went by, and then I got another email that said, "We've decided to choose you as the guy." So when they chose me, I thought, wow, I must have done something right, where I've made a fairly decent sized name for myself in the respect of being recognized, to the fact that when I mentioned earlier in my early days, Hollywood did come calling. And when they did, they knew who they wanted. It was me. So I was kind of like elated in the respect that, wow, here's little old me, small town kid from Jersey, went out to LA, and I stood where they told me and did these lines and did that over and over again for 10 years, enough to warrant some HBO in this production to reach out to the adult world and say, we want that guy. So that was cool. And then when I went down to shoot, when we got the call time to shoot the project, it was great. Everybody was real nice and receiving and just really great. And when I met Vince, the character, I actually met him in that moment of the role where we were filming it. I didn't meet him prior to that. So when I met him, it was legit.
Really?
"Hey man, how you doing? Nice to meet you." Yeah, I never met him prior to the
Okay, I didn't
shooting.
know if you guys just.
I
Yeah,
only
I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought maybe y'all had like a 5 minutes before or something.
nothing. No, not at all. It was I went in, they put me in makeup, maybe they powdered me a little bit to take a shine off, did my hair, whatever. Doug Ellen took me aside and said, "Oh, hey man, great night, nice to meet you, blah blah blah. This is what I'm looking for. I want you to be like a little intimidating to Vince and just be as natural as you can." I said, "Yeah, fair enough." So when they gave us the green light and said, "Okay, we're going in 10 minutes," there we were. They basically told us what would happen. And that's how I met him. I walked up and said, "Hey, man, big fan." He says, "Well, sorry, I can't say the same, but I've never seen any of your work." And I said, "Well, that's funny. I've seen all of yours, met Ian." And he goes, "What do you mean, an asshole?" And that was literally the first time I ever met the guy. So I think that was as good as you could get from an authenticity standpoint of not having to. But my experience was awesome. Everybody was great and nice, and nobody kind of looked down at me
Right.
from being in the adult world. But at the end of the day, I still played a porn star, so it wasn't a stretch.
Yeah, it was like
it was an accomplishment, but I was still me with a different name, which is fine, fair enough. But
yeah, fair enough.
And
No,
I even talk to Doug Ellen these days. I still talk to Doug Ellen these days. Every so often, I'll hit him up on X or Twitter, formerly known as, and say, "Hey, man, how are things?" And right.
I think that's great. One thing I was going to ask about a little bit, because that you touched on it. So you felt like throughout the shoot, everything was pretty smooth. Then there wasn't any kind of like. Did you get any weird questions by
nothing.
any cast or crew or anything? Okay, that's amazing. Okay.
Nah,
Figured somebody would have said something like,
and
"How was that like?" Yeah. Okay.
I did. I spoke to David Nutter. Strangely enough, that was his last name. Nutter, Nutter.
Love it. Okay.
I know, right? So I pulled him aside at one point at the end of the thing and said, "Hey, David, I just want to say it was great working for you." He was the director, and I said, if there's ever anything down the road in the future, I'd love to get out here and do some more stuff. I feel like I got some good acting chops. I mean, I could be one of any 5 guys in any mob movie or some bad guy in whatever, a number of roles I could play easily. And what I bring to the table now, present day, is a 22-year fan base of international recognition that you can't deny. So if there are any producers or directors out there that want to, be a little edgy, stick me in your movie. I'll bring my whole entire fan base over to watch, to want to follow and see what I'm doing. I can act, and it's not going to be like a bad idea. Like, why did we hire him? The whole movie flopped. Now we can't sell it. It's like that would never happen.
That's awesome. We've got Tommy Gunn with us today. His latest book is Tommy Gunn Unloaded. Is available on Amazon, and he joins myself and Giovanni Valentino today here on Fucking Around with Porn Stars. Yes, I am amazed that show is interviewing Tommy Gunn. To give a little side history, 2016, I went out to the AVNs, the Adult Video News Expo. And I was getting on an elevator with the lovely and talented Bro Tanya, as I like to call her. And you got on with us, and we were at the Hard Rock, and we were going down the elevator, and Brittany's like, "Is that guy famous?" And I'm like thinking, "You goddamn idiot." And as soon as you got off the elevator, I'm like, "Tommy Gunn, good to see you." And you're like, "Oh, yep." And then like 2 days later, I interviewed you and Australian porn guy. I'm trying to remember who the heck that was, but it was you and this Australian guy, blonde-haired guy. The interview's somewhere on YouTube still, and you guys basically just had a blast, and I didn't ask anything. I did the intro. You guys bullshitted and asked each other questions, and then as soon as the interview was over with, I was like, "Hey, that's our 10 minutes. Thanks, guys." And you guys were like, "Yeah."
Wow, that happens.
You guys just had a blast.
Good times.
Just to comment, was it possible that the gentleman was British instead of Australian? Because I
Probably.
do have a good friend of mine. His name is Marcus London, and
Yes, that's
ever
who the
since
fuck it was.
okay,
Jiggy,
ever
really?
since
You
he and I,
confuse an Australian with a Brit?
Hey, I'm
That
always
is
saying I'm
insulting to the
That's
Jack
Brit,
great.
my
because I'm like
man. That is
American.
insulting to
that's
the Brit.
hysterical. How funny. Yeah, it's quite the the chance that it was him, and I'm probably sure it was, because ever since he and I
Yes.
met back in
Yes.
2004, we just hit it off as friends, and we were, for lack of better words, connected by the hip to each other, doing working and movies and making movies and working opposite each other, and we even lived together on a big ranch out in California, having horses and the whole thing. It was great. We shot a movie called Spartacus. So it's obvious, or it's odds are it was is Marcus London. I'm pretty
Yes, I
sure
think
it
it
was him.
was. It
So yeah,
was.
that
Because
was
you
the
guys
year
were having a
2000.
blast, and as soon as I
Yeah, yeah,
basically just let you guys talk, and you were riffing and having a good time. And then at the end of it,
yeah, yeah.
I looked at the thing, and I'm like, well, we hit our 10 minutes because I told you guys,
There
I
we
said it's
go.
only gonna be 10 minutes. You guys are like, oh, okay, awesome. And you guys did your ten
Nice,
minutes, and at
nice.
the end of it, I was like, that was great. And we walked
Yeah,
away, and I'm like, that was the first time that I've ever done an intro and outro, never asked a single goddamn question.
not a single
You
question.
guys
That was the
Uh,
just had
year.
fun.
That was the year I was inducted into AVN's
Yes.
Hall of Fame,
Yes.
2016. That
that
was
is
quite the
correct.
year. Yeah.
Yes.
What a
What
unbelievable
was that
journey
moment
that's
like?
been.
What was that moment like for you internally? That moment of induction.
It was just kind of surreal. Like I said, everything. I almost feel like one day I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna look around, and it's all was going to be a dream. All of it, ever since I was a kid, all the way up to when I just woke up, and it was all a dream. And I go to some job, and I don't know what I'll be doing there, but maybe I'll be just some construction worker guy framing a house, and I'll say I just had the most amazing dream. I was Tommy Gunn, and I fucking met. I was bullied as a kid. I went and danced, and I was a drag race motorcycle. I did all these things. I was a porn star. I got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I had met with Richard Dreyfuss, and I met Eddie Van Halen, and all these things. And someone would say, "Damn, that's a very vivid dream." And I go, "I know, right? That's crazy." But that's how I
Yeah, I
feel
know, right?
about. I literally feel that's like my life, and it's almost in a way where it's been so amazing that it scares me, because how can it get any more amazing? So I'm waiting for like something to happen, like
Right,
I'm
you're
looking over
kind of
my
always
shoulder,
going
like
to
what's
around the corner, waiting for something to drop. Yeah, yeah, that is kind of.
you know,
I feel you on that, but yeah, no, that totally makes. I was kind of
because
thinking
I
surreal is a good word for it. I think I can see
it's
that because
totally
it's yeah. So that I would imagine it would be, but I mean, congratulations on that. I never had the chance to tell you that
oh
directly, but I
well,
remember
thanks so
seeing
much.
that. So yeah,
There's been
belated
so
as it
So
is,
many
about 9 years
moments.
later, but belated.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
there's a line in your book where you say all the answers are on the other side of fear. When did you first learn
yeah.
that?
Well, one of those was the day I was my first day as a male stripper, like a Chippendales kind of situation. Once I realized girls like guys that worked out, I started working out like a maniac and really made an effort to change my body. And because I grew up a real underdeveloped kid. I was like the smallest in my class and all my classes, as a kid in high school and everything. And once I realized, man, I got this urge to work out and build my body up, and I was blessed in a respect from a genetic standpoint that my results came quick and kind of easily. A lot of my friends hated me for it. They're like, "You barely work out, you look great," and I'm like, "Well, chalk that up to the genetics of Chinese and Italian mom and dad. I
There
don't
you
know what
go.
that would
Yeah.
equal, but it also I realized that my dream, in this case, all the answers were on the other side of fear. Was the first night I was about to do this hot body contest. It was about 10 guys in the roster, and it was a woman's. It was a club called Jugs and Mugs in Jersey on Route 73, and it was ladies' night.
That's amazing.
Yeah, as you can imagine,
Nice.
it was
I hope
these
they had
girls
t-shirts.
in
I want a T-shirt from there.
scantily,
Yeah.
and so it was these pretty girls who were well endowed up top, and they were serving jugs of beer. So that's pretty much what it was. So there was a big promotion to do a hot body contest at this place, and I threw myself to the wolves because I had been so nervous. Like, oh my God, if I could just do this one time, I could jump. So that fear I had to overcome, and that was just one instance where I realized the answers were on the other side of this fear. And then I've always kind of felt that way. If it scares you, then you're at the right place, you know.
Yep.
Just on the other side of that fear is where you want to get to. So in order to do that, you got to go for it, you know.
Total. Yep.
That's amazing. We have got Tommy Gunn with us today. His latest book is available on Amazon and all the other major book retailers. It's called Tommy Gunn Unloaded. So this book, you've put a lot of time and effort into the book. You describe the industry as a casino. It draws you in and doesn't let go. What's
the
the
house always
jackpot
wins,
and what's the debt? And yes, the house
always
wins.
Yeah. There might be moments where you're like, yes, but if you stay long enough, you know. So here's why I say that.
Everybody on this call has learned that lesson.
Oh yeah, I've been up, I've been down. I know.
Yeah. It's alluring. There's that allure, the shiny, glitzy, you know, glamorous. Wow, you know, all the casinos do it. They know what to do to make you to come inside. And then when you sit down and you realize, okay, I realize what my buy-in is. I realize what I got to ante up to play, and that's your private, intimate life that you're gonna leverage for a life of these moments of, you know, intimacy that aren't intimate, but they're just structured sexual moments with your co-star. And then once you are in and you're in, now you're playing and you're doing it, it gets a little harder and harder to want to say, I'm done, I got to get out of here, because the allure is just there. Yep. And then you realize the house has just taken something from you, and that's that your ability to have a real relationship with a civilian, that chances are diminished very quickly, and not entirely, but it's hard. It's hard to be able to juggle a relationship, having one on the outside of the world, you know, a normal one with a civilian, and then go to that casino at night. You know, I don't know anybody who's going to feel good about that. So more often than not, you look for somebody who works at the casino.
Yep.
That's in it too. And you hope that you can see eye to eye and be able to trust each other and communicate enough to navigate a relationship that's as dysfunctional as you can imagine. But if you can do it, there's the opportunity there to find love, you know.
There it is.
But it's hard to get in and get out. Once you get in, and now you're like, wow, this is great. And when you win big, you win big.
Win big, yep.
And it keeps you. I'm blessed in the respect that I've won big fair amount of times, you know, accolades, and whether you want to consider those big wins or not, or it's just like a paperweight that they give you that you can put on the desk and keep papers from blowing away. You know, these trophies. I got one right here. This one. You know, all these things are great and stuff, but what kind of value are there? You know, I got them all. The only reason this one's out is somebody wanted to see one, so I got it out. The rest of them are in the closet in a box with dust all over them.
Oh my,
it's crazy. Yeah. So
one question I had,
but that's the casino analogy.
That's a good.
And I'm not done yet. I still got to. Yeah, I still got to even if I leave the business, I still got to make it across the finish line, which is really the same finish line for everybody. If you don't do something stupid, and that's, being 6 feet deep, some
Yep.
people take that into their own hands, and it's unfortunate. Like I said, I'm a survivor of that, but I still got to finish the race or whatever race it is. I just got to get to the end of the finish line, whether I die from some sickness where I'm fighting some illness, or somebody screams and jumps surprise out of the back of a nightclub and decides to stab me for my wallet. I hope it's not that, or some accident. But we don't know when it's time for us. We'll figure that. We'll find out
No,
soon enough. Hopefully,
I think you're absolutely right on that. It is kind of kooky to think about it from that particular perspective about, just the finality of it and how we kind of tell our own storylines. And we do make the path. I know people talk about, I don't wish to discount destiny or anybody that believes in that sort of thing, but there's a lot of the path that we forge based on decisions that we make the call on, which does lead me to a question about decisions. What made you decide to write this book right now? Like, what was that journey moment for you, that light bulb moment when you said, I want to go ahead and tell this story?
Well, having been approached throughout the years of my industry from people saying, man, you must have some crazy stories. And I'm like, yeah, I do. So those sentiments echoed, and I got to a point where I was at the latter part of my run, I guess. And I thought, well, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to do that, because there's no better time than the present. And you mentioned a reference, and that's right now. And I'm a huge Van Halen fan, and that song Right Now is one of those inspirational songs that there is no perfect time to do something. The perfect time is now, right now. And I decided, you know what, let's do this. And in doing that, I met a gentleman, Jim Steele, who was extremely helpful and very dedicated and devoted to my story and helping me, navigate that up them crazy moments. We must have shared 50 to 60 recorded 2 to 3 hour recorded phone conversations.
Wow.
Where he just, he basically, what do you call that? If I'm,
he basically
transcribed transcriptions and dictation.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I'm not a writer. I never claimed to be one. I could write enough, but I more or less told stories, which were better because I feel like a good storyteller. I feel like I'm well spoken. I can describe and paint pictures fairly well in descriptions and things of that nature. So it's crazy. He and we laughed, we cried, he cried. He would get off the phone and tell me, man, he would go and tell his wife, man, I need to sit down here. I just got off this long call with Tommy, and man, I'm feeling it and stuff. And I thought, well, we must be on track if the guy who's helping me write it is feeling is emotionally invested. And Yep.
That is amazing. We have got Tommy Gunn with us today.
So that's pretty much why, yeah.
Brand new book, Unloaded, is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the various book retailers. Now, let's talk about your first adult film. The nerves hit hard until a co-star connected with you one-on-one. That moment changed everything. What did that teach you about intimacy versus performance, my guy?
Focus is everything. Mindset, your body follows where your mind goes. So if your mind is all over the place, then your body says, what, where, huh, what am I, what, so basically that's what took place in my first scene. She could sense, my co-star Mason Storm, she could sense that I was there physically, but spiritually and emotionally and whatever capacity, I was all over the place. And she says, cut. She kicked out the director and the camera guy and the sound guy. I said, get out of here. I want to have a one-on-one with Tommy. And that's what happened. They shut the door and she says, you're not here. And I go, well, yeah, I am. I'm right here. She goes, no, you're not. You're not with me right here. You know, that kind of thing. She's like, you're too concerned about what you're doing and what they're seeing. And maybe you're having some weird thoughts in your mind. Like, oh my God, I'm doing this. You gotta. So she painted this little picture of us, her and I, on a beach together, just having Coronas, watching the waves crash. And I thought, I see, now I get it. So when we went back and they said action, I knew. I just looked right into her eyes and everything else disappeared. And that's when I realized that's what she meant. And I thought, if I could just cultivate that ability from a focus standpoint, no matter what you do, you need to be able to focus, because, you know, if you're not, you're going to have problems and distractions. And in this case, doing what I do, it's going to equal a job that you can't finish. You know, you can't cross the finish line because you're having problems, you know, stepping up, if you will, to the moment, you know.
Agreed.
So, Giovanni, I'm kind of hogged.
Yeah.
Mr.
No,
Gunn.
this has
I
been
know
good.
you've got some questions too, because you've read the book as well. So.
Yeah, I was actually, you know, I was wondering, and only because we had recently been talking about this whole Burning Man festival. And I know you talked about the experience with Cameron and you attended it. You know, I've been once. It was many moons ago. And I thought it was very interesting. But what was your? I mean, when you went there? What were your thoughts going into it? Because I think all of us who've been there we had some preconceptions going in.
Sure.
And then what was it like for you? I think you've been there a few times, but what was that first time like?
My first time, you know, I heard about this place, this magical place. And the description I got from everybody was kind of similar to each other, but they ran out of words to describe it. They would just shake their head and go, it's like people everywhere. And I said, okay, well, I guess I have to bear witness to this myself. So when I went for the first time, my expectations were met with this grandeur of, wow, this vast dry lake bed where this event takes place, and all these other people of like mind are all going there, kind of to find something individual with themselves, but all synonymously with each other, and have this good time and get away from the default world, if you will, and try to experience the magic, if you will. So when I first went, man, it was everything they said. In fact, you can't go one time, because your first time is like, you get there and it's like brain dump. Your brain is just so overloaded. You can't take it all in enough. You look anywhere and you see more of what you're just blown away by. Like, what the hell? Oh my God. You know, so the first time is this kind of introduction, and you're just like, the second time you go, okay, now I know how to play this. So the first time was just unbelievable. When I'll never forget, we went to a sound camp, a DJ sound camp called the Opulent Temple. And just to see this vast moment, and this club with the music at night with the flames shooting up 50 feet in the air and everybody bouncing up and down. It was like if the Martians or the UFOs drove by Earth at this point in time, they would say, what the fuck's going on down there? Pull off. We got to go see what the fuck's happening. what the, you know
That's
what I mean?
awesome.
So it's literally the biggest party on the planet that 1 week. So that's what I think. So to answer your
Yeah.
question, it was mind blowing,
Oh God.
literally.
Yeah.
And that's what brought me back 9 more times. So
Dear God, you've been that many.
yeah,
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right.
yeah. It's yeah. And I've experienced it in all different capacities where it was great and then it was horrible because I chopped 2 fingertips off on my right hand,
Oh Lord.
literally on the roof hatch of my giant big military truck, and had to be airlifted from the event to Reno
Yeah.
Hospital to get emergency surgery on my fingertips to have them reattached. And that's
Holy
where in the book the doctor says to me, I'm a little short staffed, so I'm going to need your help sewing your fingertips back on. And I said, what do you even mean? He goes, you're going to have to hold your own fingertip on your finger
God.
while I put my glasses on, the doctor, and I sew these fingertips on. And I said, you got to be kidding me. He said, no. Now keep in mind, I had partaken into some festival funness in the shape of mushrooms, if you can imagine.
Yes.
So I took a big handful of mushrooms just before I chopped my fingertips off. So when they finally started working on me, I was up in the air flying to Reno in a fucking airplane. So I was like, what is happening? Believe it or not. And then I got to the hospital, and then here I was tripping and dealing with this. Talk about, yeah. And there's a story in the book. I think it's in there where I dropped them. When I cut them off, there were picture 2 little pieces of fingertips, 2 of them. I dropped them on the desert floor while I was running to the medical triage. I dropped them. I had them in my hand because I chopped them right off, and they landed on the floor of the truck where I was, getting down from the hatch.
Right.
And something told me to make sure I had both of them. So I looked down in my hand after I've been running.
Yeah, you want 2. Yeah, if you're missing 2, you want 2. Right.
And I looked down, and one's gone. So I'm like, oh my God. I turned, and now I'm scouring the desert floor while people are walking past, pushing their bicycles, looking for a fingertip from my finger. I found it, blew it off, put it in my hand, and ran to medical triage. Unbelievable.
Oh my!
So I've been hurt so many times. I've been in the fucking emergency room so many times. I've been all the above from an emergency standpoint type visitations.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Yeah.
This
so
is an amazing.
I've had.
Hold your hand for while I operate on this. I don't have a nurse, so you're.
Yeah, I swear to God,
that's
I'm holding. And then I said, so now here I am with the doctor, and I said, can you tell which one goes to which finger? And he's like, let's look. He puts the glasses on, and we're trying to determine which one.
Oh my God, like a puzzle
the ring
game.
finger or the middle finger? Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm in pain, like dying, like, fuck, this is killing me. So I'm so glad that moment's over.
So I guess I need to go find the doctor and interview him next week.
I think that'd be great. Yeah.
He would probably.
Oh my Lord!
He would definitely remember that.
Today. He is amazing. Tommy Gunn Unloaded is available on Amazon and all the other major book retailers. And Tommy joins us today here on Fucking Around with Porn Stars. And we have got basically a legend
very much
with us. Yes. He is the original ferret in a Jello fight, Tommy Gunn. Nice. I love Tommy Gunn, and so let's talk a little bit about because we all have some things in common on this call. So let's talk about sex, politics, and porn stars on the internet, baby. with the legendary Tommy Gunn. So one of the things that you do is you do the porn star stuff.
Yes.
Me and Giovanni
Okay.
just mess with these content creator people.
Yeah, we're just amateurs.
Um, so
Yeah,
what is the one thing that you wish performers, whether they're the porn people, the content people, whatever,
Some
were
cam
taught
models. Yeah.
before they do their very first scene?
What do I suggest they do before they do their very first scene?
Yeah,
Well,
what should they be taught?
what should they be taught? Because there's something I always say when I give talks and speeches, Tommy, which is, in this industry, we don't have a, new employee operations manual. We don't give them we don't give them a book and
Yeah.
sit them down in front of a
Yeah.
orientation day. So what, if you could orient them, if you had an orientation, what's the big thing that you want them to know?
Okay, you ready? This is the most profound answer you're going to ever have. Show up.
Okay.
There it is.
There it is. Show up.
There it is. Show up, baby.
Show up. Yep.
Because you know why? So many can't. And it's dreadful because you have a counterpart that you've made an agreement with that is waiting for you to show up in order to do your content trade or whatever the hell it is. Or on a bigger scale, you got a whole
staff
studio or production who you've already acknowledged. Yeah, I'm going to be there. You put it down in your date book, and now you have these things, and you can't show up for whatever reason. It blows my mind.
No.
It's the most, and it bothers me because I show up. I'll be honest with you. Probably out of 3,700 movies or whatever I've done, I think I may have canceled 5 times. Literally.
I was thinking
because
two.
No, literally, maybe 5, literally.
Number.
And I even got a root canal and went to set after that. I had a hip replacement and was back I was back in action in 6 weeks.
Dear God.
The most time I ever took off was my hip replacement.
Okay.
And people go, "You got a hip replacement?" And I go, "Yeah." I'm like, I wore my hip out in this business. So, I feel like if my penis had an odometer, it would have rolled over 3 times.
That's awesome.
So, that's what I say.
That's fantastic.
Show up.
I say to these guys, to these people, please show up. You made a commitment, and people are waiting for you to show up. That's my biggest. People ask me, "What's the most best advice you could give a new person?" I said, "Show up." They're like, "That's all?" And I go, "Try it. It's not. You'll discover it's." Try it, because nobody takes anything serious nowadays. I feel like it's too easy to just be like, "Oh, I decided I went out late last night and I."
Oh yes.
Oh my God. Yes. We've had plenty of that. Yes.
Plenty of that. Or one that I heard when we were in Chicago in April is I ran into a girl who was wanting to do a 10-man gangbang, and she only had 5 guys show up. And I said, "So what'd you do?" And she goes,
exactly.
"Canceled the shoot because I only had 5." And I'm like, "Shoot with the 5.
Shoot the 5." I mean, you don't have 10. You got 5.
Why not?
Get the work in so you have something that you can sell.
Yeah.
At least I don't understand that.
Don't let the other guys come out for nothing. They put and one of the things that I think that I think that our society present day has morphed into, or some shit. I don't know what you would call it, because we got phones and we can text message and we can avoid conversations. That's what we're doing. Everybody don't want to talk. Nobody wants to talk to each other because, oh my God, I might have to be like a human being and have feelings and emotions and try to drum up words to express myself. I don't know how to do that. I'm a fucking, and it blows my mind. And respect communication is a form of respect,
Yes.
meaning that if you don't respect somebody, you ain't going to call them.
Nope.
So respect is gone. Self-respect is gone. Just common courtesy is gone. Consideration for your fellow man is gone. Nobody
Agreed.
cares. It's just, that's
Oh yeah,
dreadful.
they
I
let
can't even
rumor
imagine
take
where
over
we're going.
fact. Yeah. But, well, there's a.
Yeah.
I think you made it sound you put it on, and I have been saying something similar. I've been blaming it on, the mobility of communication as an electronic format. What has happened
Yeah.
is there was the pager, where that was a
Yeah.
one-way
Yeah.
thing, right? They could page you, so you had enough time to return the call. You could determine, okay, I need to call that person. So that was kind of the first time we started filtering
Yeah.
things out. Where like you get the beep
Yeah.
beep
Yeah.
beep, you look at the number and go, oh God, that's Kathy. I don't want to talk to her right now. I'll give it a
I don't want
minute
to
or
talk
two.
to her right now.
Yeah, like you would wait, right? Like you could put it out for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then when Kathy put her number in with the little 911 in there, you kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
now I
Yeah.
got to call Kathy. So there was that, and then the cell phone. Then once we started texting, and then it was
Oh,
the
yeah.
cat. I'm running 5 minutes behind. And then you're like, okay, they're late. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
we all collectively were like, oh, I it's okay to be late. I'll just text them and tell them I'm late. And
I
then it
have a
sort of
buffer. I have this buffer now, Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I'll
Yeah. Go
just
ahead.
text them. So it's kind of strange. I lay it
Yeah.
on the devices, allowing us to separate ourselves from what you talked about, which was the human connection, the connectivity between
Yeah.
people it's degrading. Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Sorry, Jiggy, I went on a
No,
soapbox
no, no,
there,
no,
but
no, no,
And
no, no, no.
I can,
I
oh, no
I
worries.
love
I
the
can
fact
honestly
that
say I experienced my own.
yep.
I love the
Yeah.
fact
Go ahead, Jiggy.
that we spent the first half of this show, the first probably 55 minutes of the show, talking about Tommy's book, and then I asked one question, and all of a sudden it becomes a shoot. Tommy Gunn's just shooting on everybody, which is
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing.
Nice.
So something else, you as well as us, we go to these expos, we go to these trade shows, all these different
Hmm.
things. And one of the things that I have been wanting to ask you, are the fans today more entitled or more supportive of
Yeah.
the stars and the content creators that they see? Because the only reason why I bring this up is because me and Giovanni have run into this at expos and trade shows where, for instance, Giovanni will have a booth and he'll have several girls there and they'll have their price sheets and they'll have their photos. And then some guy will walk
Sure.
up there and be like, well, I see your photo's $10. What can you do for 5?
Yep.
And my attitude is always, go get
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah. 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 No. Well, there was once upon a time the stars were untouchable.
Yep.
Yes.
You had to go. You physically had to go to this convention to see her, or a dance show. If she was feature dancing somewhere,
Yep. Yep.
you couldn't talk to her on a platform like Twitter or Instagram. You couldn't reach them.
Yes.
They didn't have it. So
Yep.
you had to get in the car, start it up, pay money to get to the place, go get money, get in there, and then I guess, for lack of better words, maybe you appreciated more to see them in the flesh and be able to actually communicate and say hi, and they say hi back. But now
Yes.
everybody's so accessible. You're not up on a platform. You're not like untouchable like they were once upon a time. And then they were also glamorous. Now that's
That's
another thing that's kind of went away
Shifted. Yeah.
because there is no, you got a girl who is she's so unassuming, and then she says, yeah, I'm in the porno business, and you're going, what? in like what sense? Like what? How? Because and again, I'm not throwing stones at anybody, because to each his own, but how are you, like, what genre of, oh, I'm in the teen amateur girl next door thing, and I'm going, okay, that's fine. But I remember when the porn stars were stars, and they were glamorous, and they were like cover girls, and they were like wow,
Yes.
and they were elevated,
Yep.
and they were like, oh my god, now that's, you believed it when they said that's what they did. Now you see some girls like, this is what I do, and I can't even, I'm just blown away. Even like some guys, you know, they have these young guys that look, they obviously they are of age, men and women, you know, younger guys and girls that are of age. Obviously they are of age because they wouldn't be able to do it if they weren't of age. But maybe I guess there's a niche for everything that's people want to watch that. And, you know, now you have this interesting thing. I think the business has always been based upon older guy, younger girl type scenarios.
Yes.
That's kind of the basis of the industry, if you will.
Correct. Yep.
But now, yeah, that's kind of how it all. And now, you know, I go and sometimes I see some of the older actresses, the stars that, you know, I'm 58 years old. I'll be 59 in May. And I see some of the older
You don't
actresses,
you look great. That's,
you know,
yeah.
Well, thanks so much. And I see them and I say, we'll never work together, because why would two people of the same age have sex? It doesn't make sense in our business. We would need to write some deep story of how it happened versus it just happened. You know, we'd need to really set up the reason why, and it have to be some deep down, real screwy excuse about how two people the same age ended up getting, you know, to have sex with each other. Because so many, our business does that. It compartmentalizes everything. Everything is so like put in a box. You know, you got this, you got big this, you got big that, this, but you know. And now, as opposed to once upon a time, it was boy meets girl, and we're off to the races.
Yep.
And I think the internet did that. And then you got all these algorithms and all these other things, to the point where an algorithm says, get a blonde girl with a pink bikini on a leopard skin sofa, and a guy who is a brunette, and the clicks say, the algorithms say that that'll be a good producing scene of traffic.
Yep. No, you got it. That's you're absolutely right.
As opposed to an audience saying, I just like them because they're sexy. Wow, I want to watch that.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? And now they're manufacturing porn.
Yes.
It's manufactured now. It's cookie cutter.
Very much so. Very much so.
And gone are the days of movies. You know, right out of Richard Dreyfuss's mouth, he spoke and said to me, you know what I hate about porn? And I said, what? He goes, I don't know who's fucking who. There's no character development. I can't root for somebody because now I'm invested in them and I like them or I hate them and I want to see them.
Somebody.
You know?
Oh my.
You know,
I feel like I'm Van Wilder. I should be writing this down.
I should be writing this down.
You know, it's like there's no the on ramp for porn now is, so we all realize what the goal is, right? It's this.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's what the goal is. So how many thousand million umpteenth ways are we going to be able to get to that finish line? And it's just the most craziest. It's like, and what has brought that upon us? Internet, you know, the browsers and the naughty Americas and all those things. And that's great. And that's wonderful. But we see what technology has done for the business. Again, the business is a proving ground for technology.
Yes.
And much like the minute a guy could get a camera in his hand and produce quality content was not a decline, but a total shift in the business and what was going to be viewed and who was going to shoot what. You know?
There you go. Yep. The portability of I mean, what we can do now with an iPhone Pro 17, and just a few rig attachments completely blows away what we
I'm
had even
telling you.
15 years ago. Yeah,
I know.
it's
And
crazy.
you know what? It's empowering because some girls have never even set foot on set and they live in the Midwest and they make $30,000 a month or whatever. And some guy's hanging off a high tension line, risking his life just so she can get online in webcam, and he's not making shit. So
There you go.
it's crazy.
That's the truth. Speak it. Yes.
Yeah.
We have got Tommy Gunn with
I
us
don't know.
today, and his brand new book, Tommy Gunn Unloaded, is amazing. You can pick it up on Amazon, all the various book retailers. So, I guess my final question, and then I'll let Giovanni ask his final question. But my final question is,
Yep.
what does winning look like for you now?
What does winning look like for me now? Well,
Yes.
that's an interesting question because we all have this metaphoric finish line in our heads, right? We're going to do this and we're going to do it great and we're going to do it to the point where I win and I'm successful and I cross that finish line. But it seems like it's a fleeting finish line. So I almost like to think to myself, what if I already crossed it? And I'm already winning. I'm winning right now. In fact, I'm winning so much that I can't forget to count all the little tiny wins, like the fact that I slept in a warm bed last night and I got up this morning, there was food in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And I was in a good mood. I was actually like, wow, this is great. Look, the sun's out. I got my legs, they work. I can get up and make a rational decision. I'm not struggling with some substance or any of those things anymore. Sure, I might be struggling and with saying to myself, so what do I do now? What do I want to do now? I would like to accomplish some other things, you know. I'd like to do some more acting in a mainstream setting and get a little more serious about that and produce stuff. I think my biggest goal is to take all the things that have happened to me and try to learn enough from those things in order to help someone who hasn't experienced those. So if they ever do, they know how to prepare for it, or they know how to recover from it, or they know how to headstrong into it, the storm, you know. So I think it's a humanity type of thing. It's a human thing where I want my struggles and all those things to really be able to help someone else, because I know what it feels like to be sad and to be happy and to be desperate and to be all those things. So as often as I can, I try to be that way to even the stranger, just anyone, and be kind and whatnot and stuff. So I already won, and I'm winning still to this day because it's all about perception and the way you see things. But you know, there's some more accomplishments I'd like to make. Like I said, that would be in the acting arena. I'd like to produce some movies that when people leave the movie, you know, I got a couple scripts that I wrote that I'd had help with writing. I created the concept of the story and had some help writing it and making it into the screenplay. One of them is called The Long Road Home, and it's a father-son movie, which I think is huge because the way I see it, I'd love to see that movie made, and then played in a cinematic theater, and then as the people were leaving, count how many young guys or fathers picked their phone up and contacted their sons and said, "Hey, you know, I think it's time we bury the hatchet and start talking to each other or something," you know. So I just want to try to help in a humanitarian way, and across the board. Like if I ever stepped in whatever kind of luck and became a millionaire, I would spread that. I would help people financially, and so help comes in many forms, and encouragement and uplifting people, and just being kind doesn't cost us anything to do that. So I'm still figuring that out. And at the end of the day, when the day's over and I'm in the bed or I'm brushing my teeth, looking at myself, I want to be in the most pleasant and peaceful moment with myself, because that's who we spend our most time with. That's our biggest and most important relationship we have, is the one with ourselves. Some people don't want to be by themselves because they don't like what they're about or what they're doing or how they. So that's why a lot of us, even myself, we seek fellowship and companionship. That's what we do as a human. We get in the car and we turn the radio on instantly to have that interaction, to hear another human talk and all these things. I think the biggest goal and the biggest win for you as a human, whether you're male, female, whatever, is to be happy and satisfied and content with the person you are and you've become, and not have any regrets. That's what I'm working on.
Beautiful.
So Giovanni, one final question here for the legend Tommy Gunn, and then we'll let him go for it.
He actually answered it without realizing he was answering it. I was going to ask Tommy about the relation of like the opening quote with the Wayne Gretzky, because that's something I actually have, and what most people don't. There's one at my office. I have the quote actually on a plaque, which is, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." But I think you alluded to it, Tommy. I don't have you alluded to it, talking about what the goals are and how to relate all that to life. And I wanted to say thank you. Less of a question, but I wanted to thank you for opening with that quote, because I think it's something everybody needs to hear.
Sure.
Which is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I appreciate you to bringing that to light and putting the great Gretzky up there like that. It's been phenomenal. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, as we wrap up here with the amazing Tommy Gunn, I just this hour has flown by. What a ride!
Yes.
His book is amazing, from Cherry Hill to Porn Valley, from BMX trophies to box covers, from nearly losing a finger to finding his voice. Tommy Gunn has lived 10 lifetimes in one, and you can grab Unloaded everywhere you buy books. You can also support the man, celebrate the story, and follow Tommy online. He is on the Twitter machine and all over the place. And Tommy, thank you for making as much time as you did today, for getting real, raw, and unloaded with us today.
Oh, absolutely.
My thanks to Giovanni Valentino. My thanks to the great Tommy Gunn.
Yes,
and,
thank you, Tommy.
Tommy, thanks for making some time for us, baby.
Namaste.
I really appreciate the time.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks so much, fellas.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Tommy, thanks for doing this.
Keep
man.
on
I really
going.
appreciate the
you got
the time.
No,
I would love to, at some stage of the game, have you back and just do a deep dive on the modern day porn industry.
Yeah, actually, we would. I'd love.
I bet
there was a
you
lot
have
there to pick out. There was a lot there to pick out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, I think I saw